Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to Chocolate Covered Pages. I'm Kiona, and as you can see, I am not home. I am actually on vacation right now. Me and my husband are in Curacao. We're celebrating our 6-year wedding anniversary. But the show must continue with these weekly videos, so here we are. So this video is going to be about some thrillers that I really want y'all to pick up before the end of summer. So let's get into it. The first book that I want to recommend is Anywhere You Go by Wanda M. Morris. Now, this is not the only Wanda M. Morris book that I have read, but this one is actually one of my favorites from her. This one is about two sisters named Violet and Marigold. It is set in Mississippi, 1964. So it's like a historical mystery thriller, basically. So in the beginning of this book, we find out that Violet has been sexually assaulted by a white man, and she decides to kill him. She decides to kill him, but she knows that all it would take is a whisper, an inkling, anything, and she will be, in a whole lot of trouble, right? No matter what he did to her, she will be in a lot of trouble. So she decides to run away. And she's been seeing this white guy, and and this white guy actually has money. So she decides that, you know what, I'm going to play my part with him. And he's been talking about getting away as well. Let me really put the bug in his ear, like, yo, we should really get out of here. So she flees with that guy, and her sister, her older sister Marigold, is pretty much left back in Mississippi, and she starts feeling like, hold on, like, why are people starting to look for Violet? Like, this could be really bad for me, even though I had nothing to do with the situation. Mind you, she's just found out that she's pregnant by somebody who she really shouldn't be pregnant by, okay? So she decides she needs to flee. So we have two sisters pretty much on the run in this story, and it's always like reading stories about sisters, as somebody who has a decent amount of sisters. I really love the way Wanda M. Morris paces this story for us, and I think the people that are also going to be big fans of this are historical fiction lovers. Like, first and foremost, if you're a historical fiction lover, you're going to enjoy this one, because you could really just tell yourself, this is a historical fiction, and it has some mystery, suspense elements in it, because everyone is trying to, find these sisters. Really, Violet. They trying to find Violet. And, there's so many other things that are happening in the background, like tiny little storylines on why this person is doing this. Everyone has their own motives in this book, and I feel like this book is just not talked about enough. Yeah, because I did read Wanda M. Morris's Her Little Secrets. When that one is set during modern times or whatever. But I really enjoyed this one much better because I love the historical fiction aspect of this book. And when everything comes to a head at the end, like, I just thoroughly enjoyed it. So the next one that I want to recommend is going to be Next of Kin by Kia Abdullah. And Kia Abdullah, actually, I came across her books while I was doing some research on mystery thrillers by authors of color, and I came across her. It said that it was a legal thriller, and I don't read too much of those because they tend to have a lot of legal jargon in it, which kind of pulls me out of the story because I have to stop and go look up stuff. But Next of Kin struck the perfect balance for me because it it still kept it very much in the story, and it still dumbed down a few terms for us non-legal people. So this book is about, this is another book that has to do with two sisters. But the main character in this one is called Layla. So one morning, Layla gets a call from her brother-in-law, and he's asking her if she can drop her nephew off at the nursery. I don't remember what she does exactly, but she's like a bigwig in this corporation. So she drives over to get her nephew, and when she gets a call from her brother-in-law, maybe a few hours later while she's at work, he's like, the nursery is calling and Max never made it to the nursery. Like, where's Max? I do want to preface this by saying that this is a book that starts off very dark, okay? Very dark, because this trigger warning for anybody that wants to skip ahead is not a spoiler because it's on the back of the book, but a trigger warning is death of a child. So Layla is at work. She gets the call from her brother-in-law saying that the nephew never made it to the nursery. They looking for him. And she realizes that she forgot that she was supposed to be driving Max to the nursery, and that he's actually been locked inside of her back seat for 6 hours. Which is like, that immediately, I'm not gonna lie, that immediately upset me, because I was just like, why are we starting a book off this way? Why are we doing that? Why are we doing that, right? But if you keep reading and you can get past that part, this book is just a whirlwind. Like, it's just, for me, I was just thinking, who comes up with this? Because I kept trying to figure out what is happening in this book, who's all involved, like, what did this have to do with this child? Like, listen, y'all trust me, right? I'm just gonna say, again, if you can get past the beginning with this terrible tragedy, then the book really unfolds into something that, if you're a fan of mystery thrillers, that you will more than likely be surprised as to what all is taking place in this book. I mean, even down to the last page, right? There is a trial that happens, of course. So this is, yeah, I had to put it on this list. I don't like recommending this book just because of the beginning, but it's a good book. It's a good mystery thriller. What can I say? And the next book I want to recommend is The Perfect Ruin by Shanora Williams. I have read a few Shanora Williams at this point as well, and I would say her books are typically pretty solid mystery thrillers. She is generally a romance author, which is probably why her sex scenes are so good. Because in mystery thrillers, we don't really get like super good sex scenes, but I guess when you take a romance author and you tell them to write a mystery thriller, they're gonna come with it. In this book, we are following a woman named Ivy, and Ivy, had the perfect life. Okay, she had the perfect childhood, she had the perfect life, and then it all comes crumbling down. And now she's in her 20s, and she believes that the person responsible for her life being as terrible as it is right now is someone named Lola. Lola lives a very good life. She's very wealthy. She's married to a good-looking husband. They, live the life of, socialites and stuff, and, all the things. Meanwhile, Ivy is broke, and she has to go to therapy for the things that have taken place in her life, right? So she is pinpointed on Lola, okay? So she decides that she wants to get back at Lola, so she finds a way to infiltrate Lola's life. In my opinion, Lola is a little bit too gullible if you ask me, but yes, Ivy is able to infiltrate Lola's life, and little by little she starts trying to do things that pretty much try to ruin it, because she is locked in on trying to ruin Lola's life, because she believes that Lola is living the life that she should be living. If it wasn't for Lola, she would be living that type of life. Well, we've heard of these types of storylines before, right? We have. But I feel like this book is not what it appears to be, which I like, because surprise me, okay? I like it when I think things are going to be going one way and then they just switch it up on me, and I'm like, oh, okay, because I was definitely listening to this audiobook. I remember I was listening to this audiobook while I was cooking dinner, and I was in the middle of chopping something, and I heard like the twist, and I was like knife in hand mid-air, because I was stuck. I was absolutely stuck, and I love mystery thrillers like that. Like, please don't let me write this book. Like don't let me know what's gonna happen. Like, please just switch it up for me. Okay, so yeah, so that is that book. And I feel like that is all you need to know about this one. And I don't even think you need to go read the synopsis again or anything like this. Just go straight into it, because matter of fact, I think the audiobook is on Scribd. If you don't have a Scribd subscription, I have a link down below and you can get 1 month for free. Okay, and this one actually comes out August 20th. And this is You Will Never Be Me by Jessie Q Sutanto. And this one is also probably near and dear to me, because it's about influencers. I didn't know what to expect. I really didn't know what to expect. But when I tell you, Jessie gets it. Jessie gets it. So this book is about two mommy influencers. I feel like if you're not an influencer, you will still enjoy it. But if you are an influencer, it's going to hit different. It's going to hit so much different, because it talks about, people stealing content, people being jealous of, your numbers, you being jealous of other people's numbers, constantly checking the numbers to see, how you're doing, wanting to cater to audiences, and, having goals for your channel, and always trying to push, so you can, get to the next level. It talks about authenticity. Sometimes people want authenticity, but authenticity doesn't always look aesthetically pleasing. So it talks about that as well. So basically we meet, it's two POVs from both of the mommy influencers. One is called Meredith and the other one is called Aspen. Meredith has taken Aspen under her wing. Aspen has, is looking up to Meredith like, oh my gosh, you're exactly where I want to be. You have great, big numbers and blah, 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 blah. And Meredith is like, okay, girl, get up under my wing. I'm going to show you how I do what I do. So Meredith is starting to show Aspen all these things. Aspen is starting to, gain a little traction. But what happens is Aspen begins to kind of branch out and kind of make a little niche for herself, because she starts, she meets a guy, she gets married, she has kids, and she really turns into, I would say, the standard influencer. Aspen really told a story to her audience, because her audience saw her single. Then they saw her with a man. Then they saw her with a man, with kids, and they literally followed her journey from the beginning, so it just hit different, and then Aspen's numbers just started skyrocketing. Meanwhile, Meredith is just looking from the sidelines like, hold on, 2 million followers, 3 million, 6 million. Meanwhile, she's still stuck at however 100,000 or whatever, and she's just like, yo, I told her everything she knows. That came from me. I told her that. I started this, but it is it is what it is. You know what I mean? And Aspen doesn't even really realize at first that Meredith is really jealous of her success, and she starts, trying to give her pointers, and Meredith is like, how you gonna give me pointers and I made you? This book was funny. It was funny. It was just what I needed. It felt just so summery. It just really felt it was just like such a good mystery thriller for the summer. I also did this one on audio, which I enjoyed. So I think that you guys really should check this one out because it's so fun. It's so fun, and you won't even see it coming, what actually happens. I thought I knew what was gonna happen from the beginning. I'm like, yeah, I mean, obviously such and such and such, but no, that is not what happened. That is not what happened at all. So yeah, grab this one. It's literally coming out August 20th. This video will be coming out August 19th. So you have one day to go and get the book. Okay, the video gonna drop, and then the next day you should be getting the book. Or you could even on the 19th run to Libby, put it on hold at your library, and then maybe by the next day it's already waiting for you. See, you gotta know what's coming up ahead, so you can get to the front of the line. Okay, so the next book I want to recommend is going to be None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. This is my second Lisa Jewell, and I like this one the most. This one is about a woman named Josie, and Josie is celebrating her birthday at the same time as another woman named Alex, and Alex is a very she has a very popular podcast about women that are, looking back on their lives, and they've done some, big change in their lives, and now they're on her podcast and they are talking about it. And she ends up hooking up with Alex in a very creepy way, if you ask me. I won't go through it, but it's strange, okay? It was given red flags from the very beginning when they first met, but it seems that Alex ignored them. Yeah, so Josie approaches Alex like, listen, I would like to be on your podcast. I know you usually do women that have already done some, big changes in their life, but I'm about to be doing some changes, and I really think that I need to be on this podcast so we can kind of chronicle these changes that I'm gonna be making. And the book pretty much kicks off from there. Very, very strange things. Very, it's a lot of things that I have a lot of questions for Alex personally, because I just don't know how Josie was able to do some of the things that she was able to do. I'm going to blame Alex for this, yes, but I just want to say that Josie, she was entertaining. the book was entertaining because of Josie. What can I say? Okay, and I think that I'm gonna go out on a limb and say maybe this is Lisa Jewell's best book. I do need to read some more Lisa Jewell's, but the other Lisa Jewell that I read, which was The Family Upstairs, it did nothing for me. So if the other Lisa Jewell books is like that, you can just skip those. just get to this one. None of this is true. This one is very this one is very good. This is entertaining. This is a mystery thriller that you need, and it is very good on audiobook, I will say. Okay, so that is going to be the end of this video. I hope that you will meet me back here every Monday for more bookish content, and subscribe if you have not already, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Bye.